Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Billy and Andre Show, the only show on the internet where we are pro-legalizing all drugs except for Balatro. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, why not Balatro?
Because you're addicted, man. You need to stop. You need to stop, and we need a government-wide ban in order to control your behavior.
No, man, Balatro's not that addictive, man. I don't have to play it all the time. I just have to play it sometimes. And when I play it, I give a bit of enjoyment, and then I leave it, and then I play some more a little bit later. So I don't have an addiction. It's fine.
How long was it been since you last played Balatro?
About 20 seconds.
And how long was it before that?
About 2 hours.
Oh, so you only need a hit every couple of hours. That's
No, because I got dopamine from Path of Exile, so don't worry about it.
I get my sublimation. You can't sublimate your addiction with another addiction, dude. That's not how it works.
I'm pretty sure you don't want to talk just about Balatro today.
No, but this is an intervention for your mental health. No, it's not. We're not talking about Balatro today, as much as I would like to, but we are talking about the people who want to legalize all drugs, and by which I mean the Green Party.
Yay! Well, not all drugs.
No. This is
not Class A drugs. Let's hope not.
Well, the thing is, what they were talking about was decriminalization, not legalization. There was a big difference. You know, like legalization means you can buy it in a shop. Decriminalization means you won't get arrested and like put in prison for having it.
I'm pretty sure people don't just arrest you for smoking weed anymore.
No, they don't. Not for weed. But the police are supposed to, if that makes sense.
I mean, they looked at it and it's like, what's the worst thing a stoned guy can do?
Yeah, nothing.
Eat some more chocolate.
Yeah. Oh no, he might attack a pastry shop, or he might get so out unbelievably enraged that he goes, "Oh man, that sucks."
And that was it.
Okay. Yeah. But no, we're not going to be talking specifically about weed today. We are going to be talking about green things, though.
Green Party,
like the Green Party. Yes. I had a really hard time choosing what to talk about this week because the news has been fucking mental. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but
yeah, it was not entertaining.
It was not entertaining, no, not in the slightest. But it was very, very depressing because it's just all bad shit again, you know?
Nothing good happened this week.
No. We're recording this on Sunday the 1st of March. So if you're listening to this like tomorrow, it's
probably not relevant anymore.
It might be completely irrelevant, unfortunately, because I couldn't really talk about Iran because that situation is still escalating really, really badly. We don't know what exactly has happened yet. We do know that some schoolgirls have been shot, so that's a thing. That
what really annoyed me about that?
What's that?
We actually helped this time around again to a certain degree.
Sort of.
We still helped to a certain degree. If you look at the news, we kind of did.
Yeah, we're kind of trying to sort of half-arse it and sort of half help up the Trump administration and half not.
I'm pretty sure he said he's not going to give any support to the whole Iranian war. And then he turned around and kind of helped a little bit.
Our dear leader, Kier Starmer, turned around on a promise that he said. Oh, really? I'm very surprised by this, as you can tell by the tone of my voice.
Yeah, which I was so happy that we refused. I think we refused him the airport, so we don't let.
Yeah, in Cyprus.
Yeah. So we refused that, and I was like, oh, thank God, he's finally doing something. You know, his balls finally dropped.
Yeah,
after so many years, and then he turns around and does that.
Then you realise that the drop was actually off. They dropped off. So unfortunately, he does not have his balls anymore. If you can, I think there's a government website where you can join the rescue team to help find Kier Starmer's balls, but I don't think you're going to find them in this episode anyway. It might be a long time before they find him again.
You quite literally had me going there for a second. I'm like, is there a website?
I don't know how. Other batshit news, Cuba's starving. Cuba's being blockaded by the US. No aid or oil can get in, so they're having a fuel crisis right now. They can't run cars. Their economy's collapsing. So Cuba's kind of fucked. And also, like, this is really important, but we just don't have time for it today. There was an absolutely devastating frame mog of Cavicula.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say on that. So instead of like focusing on the big world shit, I decided, okay, what do I actually want to talk about today? If like my brain has been dominated by the news. I haven't had any interesting thoughts outside of political ones, really, in the last week. So I decided just to talk about something which I wanted to talk about, which is the Green Party by-election in Manchester.
Which we won, yay!
Which we won.
Go Greens!
For the record, I am a paid-up member of the Green Party at this point. I joined, a month ago?
Yeah.
And Andre is still green curious, but he is...
Wow, that made me sound...
I specifically chose that word because I knew it would annoy you, yes.
Wow, dude.
This is why we're friends, dude.
So you can bully me. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's all right. It's your turn next week. So
yeah, dude, I'm planning it now.
Oh, I bet you.
For the next hour, that's all I'm going to do. You're going to talk, and I'm going to just think of what to do to you.
As I said
that's wrong.
Damn it, I was going to make a sex joke, and you already beat me to it.
All right, crack on, Billy. Let's do this.
Oh, crack on, eh?
Oh, come on, dude.
So, yeah. There's no you sort of alluded to this before we sat down, but it's kind of a small, Manchester constituency by-election. Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Well, it matters because basically everyone in the country's been paying attention to it. And they paid attention to it whilst the Green Party went from basically being in third place and kind of risking a spoiler vote, basically.
Yeah.
Splitting the left vote so that Reform got in. They went from polling about, third to winning by over 10 points. Which is
great.
Which is fucking insane, dude. I should point that out. Swings like that from the polls are kind of evidence that polls don't really matter that much anymore.
But that does prove that people are getting fed up, right?
It does. The whole sort of election sort of speaks to that when you just look at the results and how they broke down. So how did it break down? The Greens won 40% of the vote. Doesn't sound like a lot, but in the context of a three-way race where there's three major parties involved.
Yeah.
Well, there were four major parties involved, but the Tories are irrelevant, which is very, very funny to me. It will never, every single time they get massive loss on one of their things, it's just music to my ears, man. Old habits die hard. But, yeah, so the Greens came in first. Hannah Spencer will now be the MP for Gordon and Denton. She will be attending, going to Westminster very, very soon. Second, trailing 11% behind, basically, is the Reform Party.
Yeah.
Labour got just underneath the Reform Party, so they came in third. Why does it matter? Well, it matters because literally all the major parties put their best effort into this.
Yeah.
They went from basically not caring about this place because it was assumed that Labour would hold on to it.
Yeah.
To everyone realising it's up for grabs. And this is the first by-election the Greens have ever won. That's kind of what the historic significance of this is.
Oh, so the rest, or was the rest of the seats just people moving over to the Greens, or?
No. The rest of the seats were won in general elections, where every MP gets replaced, basically.
Oh, yes, because a by-election is when it's halfway point between... Yeah. It's the halfway point. The next general election is in 2 years from now, so that's going to be a whole different story.
That's going to be a whole different game. But this, when a seat gets vacated for some reason, a by-election gets called, and that's what happened here. Fun fact, the reason that there was a by-election at all is because the Labour guy who won in 2024 was forced to resign because of a scandal where he was caught wishing death upon all his voters.
Didn't he punch?
Also, he punched a guy in the face, yeah.
Did he? Because I'm not completely sure it was him or it was just the other case that
someone got punched in the face, but this guy specifically also got caught saying how much he hates the voters, how much he hates the electorate, wanting a 72-year-old woman to die, that kind of stuff. It just doesn't look good when you're...
See, I don't get it, right? You are an MP. You're gonna get paid.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the job, just shut up and sit there.
Which is what most of them do.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. It's it's the cushiest job in the world.
Yeah, you get paid $100 grand a year to
just keep your opinions to yourself if you don't want to be there. And next time there's a vote, just leave.
Yeah, it's it's a Labour safe seat. They've held this for 100 years. You could just skate by, not worry about anything. And if voters come up to you and say, hey, you're doing a piss poor job, you say, well, we're looking at it and we're going to fix it. Don't worry. And then just leave.
It's on my list.
It's on my list.
And then you pull up a little notebook and you just write in the notebook, don't do anything. And then it's done. You'll be like, it's in the book. I got you.
Yeah, to be fair, that would be a really sweet trick to pull on just
me keep on giving bad ideas to people again.
Yeah, don't give the politicians more ways to ignore people because they're very good at that already. They don't need help.
That's true.
But yeah, so the Greens won their first by-election ever. This is the first time people have actually gone out and they've had, like, you know, a choice, and the choice has been pretty close between 3 different people, and the Greens actually won.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if the Greens win, it's because it's a very, very left-wing area. This kind of isn't that. It's not the centre of Bristol, you know. It is in Greater Manchester, which is pretty sort of lefty as it is. But it wasn't like a seat they were expected to win. They have, like, the Green Party ranks all the seats they think they have the most chance in.
Yeah.
This is 127th most likely out of a bunch of seats.
So I looked at a little video. I can't remember who made it on YouTube, right? And it showed different people going to support their candidates. And then I saw Starmer coming out and going and shaking everybody's hands and be like, yes, we got this. And I'm like, I think that's what brought them down. I think if he just stayed in London
and shut the fuck up.
Exactly. They might have still won. They just saw him and it's like, yep, that's it. I'm not voting for them.
Well, the funny thing is, the reason Labour really fucked up and why Starmer thought he had to show up to this by-election was because in order to prevent someone from stealing his job, basically, because Kier Starmer is legendarily unpopular. Nobody likes him, not even the Labour guys. You're looking at me with some confusion about this.
I mean, I don't think nobody's surprised at this point.
No, everyone fucking hates that guy. And for different reasons, granted. You know, Reform voters think that he's not bad enough, you know, hard enough on immigrants. Green voters think he's the spawn of Satan that is sent here to destroy the planet Earth. And I tend to fall on that side.
Well, I think he's just here to destroy the economy, not the whole planet.
Yeah, and get money for himself and his friends, basically. Everyone hates Starmer. Everyone thinks he's a lying sort of snake. And the problem with being super unpopular and also not trustworthy is that there's nothing you can really say to get more popular because nobody trusts you.
Yeah, so there's nobody can lie to anymore.
No,
everybody can see it.
Yeah, you've run out of lies. Everyone knows you're a liar now, so none of your lies are going to work. And it's it's a thing that you would think would trip up, you know, Trump or Farage just as much because they lie a lot more.
Yeah.
But the thing is, their constituents don't care if they lie. Labour voters do. So you can't really pull this like, oh, I'm going to be like, you know, like Trump and just confidently lie about everything if you're a lefty, because at the end of the day, the lefty voters are a lot more sort of scrupulous about who they pick.
Yeah, and also the lefties we kind of want to see proper results, not just lies.
Yeah,
and the right likes to be lied to. I have a feeling that everybody that's on the right, they kind of enjoy being lied to and pretending that everything's okay.
Yeah,
you know, it's like that meme with the dog in a burning building, just saying I'm okay.
Yeah, this is fine.
This is fine. Yeah,
yeah, kind of like the meme of the dog in the burning building. A lot of Reform sort of voters are kind of just pretending that Nigel Farage isn't like an elitist prick who would sell them down the river for literally half a bag of gold, you know? So
again, I think I said this before, like, I don't understand how people don't just see him and think, dude, you're the guy that brought us Brexit. You're the guy, basically, him and Boris Johnson. The two of you were the faces. The two of you lied to us what kind of money the Brexit will bring us. The two of you lied to us the security that we're going to have in this country we never got. Like, fair enough, if Brexit would have went through and all of a sudden the economy would explode and the border security that they think it's a problem all of a sudden wouldn't be a problem, then yeah, cool. But dude, everybody can see that none of that happened. Actually, it's quite the opposite, because it got worse.
Yeah, it got a lot worse. It got significantly worse. And, you know, Labour has been, you know, bless them, trying to sort of right the ship. You know, things haven't been going.
You don't right the ship by cutting all the budgets. You don't right the ship taking away money from the NHS. You don't fix that. You don't fix things by stealing money from old people that can't warm their houses, man. That's not how you make it.
No, you don't, because at the end of the day, the old, the disabled, the people who work in like the NHS, they don't have a lot of money to take. You know who does have a lot of money to take? Billionaires.
Yeah,
billionaires. Yeah. People with fuckloads of stuff. And Labour's main problem is that they just refuse to touch any of that. They refuse to discuss a wealth tax. They were talking about a windfall tax for energy companies not too long ago. Like, energy companies are still not going to get taxed, despite the fact they're raking all, you know.
I still don't get
just destroying all of our finances.
But I don't understand how they're still getting away with it, right? Because I get it, heating and all that, it's a bit more expensive. I get it. But the same companies on record, they came out and said this was the best years of our lives.
Yeah.
Like, we made the most money now. So why are you making more money now? Why is this something that is allowed for them to actually make so much money? You need to look at their bottom line profits, and if they made more profits in the last 3 years than they made the previous 3 years, maybe you should start taxing them a hell of a lot more, because I know how much I'm paying for electricity. I only have electricity, thank God, but I can only imagine a family of 4 with both people struggling to feed their kids and, you know, warm up their house, because we can put a hoodie on. We don't have to have our heating on 21 at all times. We're fine. The cats have fur. We're all good. You know, like, we can put a hoodie and the cats are sorted. But everybody else, they can't do the same thing because they're kids.
Yeah, their kids are not furry enough. Their kids need to grow more hair and become cats.
Exactly. I mean, that's how it works.
Say what you want about being a cat parent or whatever, it's a lot cheaper than being a real one.
No, it's not. That is a lie.
Oh, dude, we need to do the numbers on this. Like, what's actually more expensive? Like, properly taking care of an animal or properly taking care of a child? I'm actually curious.
I like the fact that you emphasize the fact properly.
Yeah,
because I have a rant about people not taking care of their pets.
That's true. I mean,
okay, you want to go on a tangent, because we can go on a tangent.
I don't mind going on a tangent about how you take care of your cats, man. I'm actually genuinely impressed by the way you take care of your cats. They're very, very healthy cats.
They eat better food than we do.
Yeah,
I'm not even joking. I eat so much junk. They are so healthy.
They are like eating food that you look at and going, ooh, that's probably fine if I put it on some toast. Like,
well, no, maybe not in the toast, but we might need some beans and a bit of salt and pepper. But yeah, you can eat their food.
Yeah,
it's human grade food, right? This is not an ad, but Cat Kim, dude, that food changed our lives. That's why we don't have smell of shit in the house.
Ah,
because they actually digest
clean poo.
Yeah, they digest 90% of the. Well, I say that, and then Max goes, finds something on a counter, eats it, and then has the most stinkiest poo you ever can imagine. You can smell it. It woke me up out of a sleep once. I was just there sleeping. It was about 2:00, and I'm like.
Usually when you get woken up by a smell, it's like the smell of fire or smoke or something.
No, it's of shit. You've never been woken up properly by anything until you could smell shit and you're like, fuck me. That's insane. That's when you know something went fucking wrong. They actually, cause I don't know what he ate. I can't explain, because we don't have
raw
any
bacon. Raw bacon from the fridge.
I don't think so, dude, because he will still digest it, right? Because with cats, why cats have their poo stink so badly is because when you buy things like Whiskers or whatever brand you want to name, insert
cat brand. Yeah,
just here. When you buy that, it has so many chemicals and so many preservatives inside of it, so it lasts for so long. Their cat food, it lasts 8 days after you take it out of the freezer, right? So it would go off. Normal cat food, you put it in a drawer somewhere and come back to it 3 years later. It will still be good for the cat, right? And that's why they don't digest all of that. They just poop it all, and that's why it stinks. Where this one, because they digest 90% of it, it's fine. But when he gets some actual food, like something that is processed, like eating part of a biscuit or something. Oh my fucking god. Okay, cat tangent over.
Let's go back to something that's much more boring. But yeah, unlike, your job in taking care of your cats, Kier Starmer has done a much worse job of taking care of the country. Perfectly executed segue. I will take my award now. Thank you very much. No, Kier Starmer fucked this election up for himself, basically. He refused to allow a fella called Andy Burnham, who's the mayor of the Greater Manchester area, very popular guy, former candidate for Labour leader.
Oh, because he's afraid.
Because he's a coward little bitch, and he knows two of his favourite sort of, bigwig advisors, Peter Mandelson and Morgan McSweeney, have recently left the Labour Party because of the Epstein scandal.
I'm so happy that at least we are doing something.
I know. We could do more. We could do much more.
Do we have more?
So much more.
Yeah, but we can't touch America, man.
I know, but, if they land over here, then maybe.
That's why Elon Musk doesn't come to London anymore.
Very true. Also, everyone would just go cunt, and they'd be right.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. But yeah, Kier Starmer, Andy Burnham wanted to run for this seat so he could be an MP, he could be in a cabinet, because you can't be a cabinet minister without being a minister,
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So they were going to put him in this seat. where this guy had left it quite open. And Andy Burnham is very popular in Manchester, so they thought, right, easy victory, get this guy in, and then maybe he can make the Labour Party start to look better, on the national stage. Maybe he would take over from Kier Starmer. Maybe he wouldn't. We'll find out.
I mean, do you think Starmer's going to actually last after the next election?
No, dude. His career is toast. We'll get back to that in a bit, but he's absolutely killed himself with this one. But yeah, Kier Starmer himself blocked Andy Burnham from running in that seat, so they had to give it to some no-name who wasn't very charismatic exactly, and
probably if nobody knew him, why would you vote for him?
Well, it was a her, so you didn't even know.
I didn't even know. I'm sorry, vote for them. Okay,
yeah,
I'm woke.
Well, I'm Labour. Just vote for me. Yeah, yeah. That's not how that works anymore, buddy. Yeah, because Kier Starmer was so afraid of Andy Burnham taking his job, basically, he decided to just sort of stick his oar in, keep Andy Burnham out. They ran a no-name, and of course, she didn't have the popularity and the name recognition to overcome what the Greens were doing. The Greens basically just went full-on old school and just deployed infinite activists to go around knocking on doors and asking people about voting. They flooded the place.
So that works.
It fucking does.
And it's annoying, but it works.
It's annoying, but the thing is with the Green Party people, we've met the Green Party people. We went to speak to our local Green Party the other day. They're all just nerds. They're all just pleasant people,
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
It was chill. We were talking a bit about politics. I actually thought we were going to
have more political debates and stuff, and I don't know why I thought that was the case, but I went in there and I'm like, okay, cool, get your political face on. These people are smart, okay? Just and then everybody drank, chilled. It was nice.
Yeah, it was chill. I had a good conversation about land value taxes. That was interesting. That was the only politics we did back and forth, really.
Well, at the other side of the table, they were talking American politics.
Oh, right, which is vastly more entertaining, to be fair. I mean, it's much funnier, and also we're separate from it, so we can just go from over here. Just, ignoring the fact that the same forces that fucked up America are going to try and fuck up this place as well. Speaking of which, Reform. What were Reform doing during all this time, whilst the Greens were just out there doing the legwork, basically?
Nothing.
Well, Matt Goodwin, I don't know if you've never watched GB News, have you?
No, I don't really. I try to stay away from it.
Yeah, because it's cancerous as fuck. But it's there's a very popular sort of pundit on there by the name of Matt Goodwin. He used to be an academic, funnily enough.
Is this the guy with the big forehead?
With a very big forehead, yes.
Okay, cool.
And a very angular sort of face. Yeah, very, very strange dude to look at. But he used to be an academic, and he wrote a very quite respected dissertation about how far-right politics works and how it's basically a cult. And then he joined the cult.
I mean, he was probably just making we knew another guy that was, in Europe, and he wrote a book. And then he started, taking his book really serious and making people buy his book.
Well, the thing is...
What was his name? I think he was German.
He was Austrian, technically.
He was Austrian, technically, wasn't he?
But, no, but the difference between him and that is, imagine if Hitler wrote a book called... Why Everyone Else Hates the Jews Except Me, and then he went on to become Adolf Hitler. That's kind of what this guy is doing. So yeah, big sort of national figure on GB News, which apparently is very watched by people. It never used to be, but it is now apparently. Yeah,
GB News has nothing to do with the BBC, right?
No. It's basically it's not a Murdoch-run thing. That's Talk TV, which is Murdoch's answer to it. But it's basically run by foreign billionaires. It's foreign billionaire money, basically.
So it's basically Fox News, but UK Fox News.
Yeah, it's UK Fox News.
If you don't know Fox News, it's Donald Trump's channel at this point.
Check out Sky News Australia as well. Those guys are fucking hilarious for how evil they are. It's so funny. And it's also extra funny because they're Aussies and they're always talking about stuff that happens in Australia. So it's well, this isn't relevant to anybody except 5 people. So sorry, Australia, I love you.
Well, there's actually, you can get it in the UK?
Sky News Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it on YouTube. Yeah, it's all over the place.
Is it live broadcasting?
It is live broadcasting.
No, thank you.
No, okay.
I'm not paying that tax.
Fair enough.
I'm not paying TV. I'm not paying for pedophiles, dude. which is the BBC. I'm not doing that.
Well, have you bought anything from Nestle recently?
I try to avoid.
Yeah,
even though
good luck with that. They own like a third of the food ever.
Yeah, I know. I'll just start eating carrots, man.
Just literally just live on,
Yeah, because they're British carrots. Can't be owned by Nestle.
That'd be an interesting diet video. It's like, I tried to do a diet which doesn't involve any slave labor.
That's insane.
I grew this one carrot in my back garden. I'm just going to nibble on it slowly for the entire year. So yeah, what Mr. Goodwin decided to do with his large amount of money that he has from the Reform Party, because Nigel Farage wanted to prove a point here. He wanted to destroy Labour in a very safe Labour seat, prove that they're like, going to be the force that takes the Conservative movement forward for the next generation, blah, blah, blah. So Matt Goodwin decided to basically get in the back of an open-top car and just go around shouting at people. And
didn't Nixon do that?
Kind of, yeah, but much more effectively because Nixon won. Matt Goodwin did not win. He in fact lost quite heartily, mostly because A, he's not from Manchester, B, he's a rich, cushy type who lives in London, and C, he's not very likable even to people in London. It's not like, he's got a big fan base somewhere. Not really. He's just a guy who gets put on news to say, the same talking points as every other, Farage acolyte.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, talking about every single candidate so far. I think Green wouldn't have won if they actually made better choices for the people they wanted to put in power.
How do you mean?
Because all the people that you described, the only reason they didn't win because they're all fucking imbeciles. And then the only other good choice was the Green Party, which seemed quite genuine.
That's right? The thing. Hannah Spencer, the new MP, she's a very, very genuine lady.
She's a plumber.
She's a plumber who's trained to be a plasterer.
I love that so much. You have no idea. It's like...
And she dresses like some sort of like techno future hippie at the same time, which is very weird.
She's great. Like, I really liked... I saw her and I'm like, oh, cool, dude. There's literally a video out there. She was like taking selfies and making TikToks whilst the voting was going on. And I'm like, oh, dude, you're so with the kids.
Yeah, that's the thing. She kind of dresses like a primary school teacher, but she's still a plumber. And I'm like, respect,
Yeah.
Like, you do get to see her in some interviews where she's literally like at college doing a plastering exam and like takes like a break during the exam to go talk to like Owen Jones or whatever and like talk to the press. It was just kind of awesome just to see someone in like a hoodie that's like covered in like bits of plaster, just like talking about, yeah, you know what, we need to change in the country, really. And I'm like, damn, this is like the most relatable thing ever.
Hopefully she's gonna get people on board. Sorry, dude, I'm keep on cutting you off.
No, it's fine. No. Like honestly, like these tangents are good. Hannah Spencer, very, very good at speaking. She's really, really genuine. She has what I like to call like nurse energy. It's because like all my life I've been working with like women in their sort of like 40s, 30s, nurses.
Yeah.
Because of that, there's like a certain energy you get from like a nurse who's like in charge of the shift or whatever. And if it's a good nurse, you can just sort of tell by their demeanor, by the way they talk, by how confident they are, that kind of thing. And because a good confident nurse will do much, much, very well in a mental health setting. You need to have that sort of sureness about your speech. Otherwise, people start going a bit on you, Yeah,
because if you can't say what you need to say, why would I listen to you?
Yeah, and the thing with people who are, have mental health issues is quite a lot of that time that involves paranoia. They're the kind of paranoid in general. So, or just mistrusting of the system. That's also a factor. And those two things, you need to overcome those things as a mental health nurse. So you need to be sure in what you're saying, you need to be confident, and you need to be able to just get to the point, not try and dress it up too much. Because if you dress it up too much, then, it's like people are, feels like you're being lied to.
And
for an example, every time that Kier Starmer says anything, that feeling.
Oh, you wanted to get that one in. Like, he didn't even let me say anything. You just wanted to get another dig in.
Oh, of course. I'm going to title this episode Dancing on Sir Kier Starmer's Grave.
And that's why it's going to have no views.
And that's why no one's going to watch it, but I don't care. It's going to be worth it. I'm going to have a great thumbnail. It's going to be awesome. Okay. But yeah, I mean, you've got basically, stacking up just person to person, putting Hannah Spencer next to Matt Goodwin. It's like, oh, well, here's the most fake, evil, slick looking, elitist twat imaginable. And here's a chick who's just like qualified to be a plasterer.
Yeah.
But the choice is going to be obvious if you're a working class person.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like, the thing is with Reform in particular, a lot of people like far right committed racists have started leaving Reform now because they don't think Nigel's racist enough because he keeps inviting former Tories into the party. Suella Braverman, some other guy whose name I fucking forget. But, they're very high-profile Tories who spent the last 12 years or whatever completely fucking it up and not fixing the immigration issue, what they perceive as the immigration issue.
What you're telling me, all the losers are going to reform.
Yeah. Suella Braverman, I mean, she's insane. If you ever look up Suella Braverman, I mean, she could be in a series of podcasts. Like, Behind the Bastards would go on for years looking into her, because she's part of a very weird sort of Tibetan Buddhist cult sect where you worship this random old dude as a divine messenger from God. And there's not very many of them, but they are linked to a couple of murders. And a bunch of sex crimes. So, interesting lady, shall we say. She hates immigrants more than, I have ever felt for anything in the world. She has so much.
But the thing is, she's part of a Buddhist sort of isn't that foreign?
Yeah, she's foreign. It doesn't make it make sense. That's the problem. All these reform dipshits can see that. So why can Nigel Farage not see that?
Oh, because probably he's banking on, just another vote. I don't care. Just I need another vote in as an MP vote.
Yeah,
so
basically.
They're just whatever vote. Just give me a vote.
Yeah, he just he just wants to grab as much power as he can. And I think even reform voters are starting to realise that a bit, because when you've got, a place in Manchester, which is Labour heartland, you want to win the Labour vote there. You might think that you should get someone from Manchester, like a reform person from Manchester, to run there.
I'm pretty sure there was somebody there.
I'm sure there should be
somebody there.
They've obviously got a few voters in Manchester, so why not? There should be someone they could nick from. Apparently, no. You have to get the millionaire former academic who runs a GB News show that nobody watches. Just incredibly dumb choice of candidate from Reform and from Labour. And the Greens knocked it out of the park. They found someone who's actually a very good communicator and is working class and is from the area. You can't really, and had an amazing ground game, was getting out every day on the doorstep herself. That's a winning combination. You can't really beat that with just standard sort of politics,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That I agree. Yeah, because, from a certain point of view, I looked at it and being everybody else was complete dog shit. That's why we won this one, because they were so bad. But she is quite amazing, right? So
she's quite an excellent candidate for it.
But I think if again, devil's advocate, right? If you look from the other point of view, if they would have let, what's his name, the Labour guy, the guy that Starmer's afraid of?
Andy Burnham.
So if they would have let Andy Burnham go and actually... how much chance do you think we would have had? Would it have been a lot closer? I think it would have been a lot closer.
It would have been a lot closer. Labour would have put a much better foot forward, but I'm not sure if they would have won. I'm not actually sure, because people are very, very pissed off at Labour right now. It's
just fair, yeah.
Sorry, Andy, I like you and all that. You're a good mayor of Manchester, but yeah, send you off to go help Starmer? Nah, can't see it, bud. Can't see it, bud. The thing is, I think Hannah's sort of Hannah Spencer's public profile really got brought up and raised by the fact that Zach Polanski is the leader of the Green Party, and he spent a lot of time bigging her up. He wasn't just taking her to events and getting her to speak and stuff. He was also every single time he got asked about it, it's well, we've got a great candidate. Well, we've got a great candidate, Hannah. She's a working class, blah 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 blah. He was always hammering it home. It's go look at my candidate. She's actually banging. She's fine. Check this shit out.
Yeah.
And Kier Starmer didn't even know the name of the person who was running for Labour in that seat. He got afterwards he got asked about it, and they said, "Oh well, we had a really strong candidate." And someone commented they were watching the video, and they just sort of paused it and said, "I would love if this reporter would just ask, what was her name?" No, because he didn't know. He didn't.
But he didn't. I don't think I saw any video with the two of them.
No, I didn't. I didn't know what she looked like until I did research for this, I couldn't get away from pictures of Hannah Spencer because every single time Zach Polanski was in front of a camera, she was right next to him. Zach Polanski is a very, very good communicator, man. He knows how to play the media game better than anybody. And this is partly that, because he knows the attention is on him. And he knows, in order to avoid the sort of cult-like Farage thing that Farage has, but no other, politician in that sort of aura has, you got to, lend them your energy. You got to basically okay, all the cameras are pointing at me, so I don't want them pointing at me. I want them pointing at this thing. So I'm just going to point here as much as possible. Pretty simple thing, but it worked.
So I started watching this 1 hour video on the making of fascism, which was very interesting because you discovered the fact that fascism comes from the Italian word for fascio, which is a bundle of sticks put together because it's hard to break. And I didn't know that. I always, fascism. But if that doesn't get us, I don't know what was. I just said it 3 times in a row.
Clipped and shipped.
So I found it fascinating, right? And
Fascinating.
I'm
sorry.
So the way fascism works, and the fascism goes into a government, because I looked at current politics and what Reform is trying to do and Nigel Farage is trying to do. First of all, fascism, in order for it to work, it goes into violence, then acceptance, and then into power, and then ultimate power. And that's how you take over a government, basically. That's how it happens with the Italians. That's what happened with the Germans. It went violence, acknowledgement, power, and ultimate power. And if you look at Reform, right, they're building a cult sort of around one person, which is Nigel Farage in this case. And they're kind of they didn't get to the violence part yet. They're just gathering some forces. And then they're pushing people into violence slowly. And then they're going to push people into accepting it if they get into some sort of power. And that's where it's going to get worse, and you're going to get closer to fascism. That's how I see it. So I looked at it and I'm like, it kind of looks like the making of fascism, doesn't it?
Kind of a bit. But I will draw a comparison because I've heard people mention this before. Like, oh, it's just like the 30s. It's just like the 30s. It's just like the 30s. It's not. There's one big difference. In the 30s, when all like the original fascist movements were sort of coagulating, they had, who did they most appeal to? Young men who are out of work, right? That's like the sort of... Yeah. That's the classic sort of...
It's coming to that, dude.
It is. Lots of jobs are being lost right now. What the difference is that a lot of those unemployed men in the 1930s were veterans of the First World War. And that is different because when you're a veteran of the First World War, you are fucking mentally ill from that. There is nobody got out of that war without some sort of damage.
We're not as mentally damaged, but we're still sort of.
But there's a lot less people just in general who are willing to do violence for the sake of politics. There's not very many people like that. You might find a few Islamists, maybe.
Yeah.
You might find a few like far right nutters, like the guy who shot Joe Cox, the MP, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But there's not been a huge wave of that because there's not enough sort of mentally ill young men for them to just sort of let loose on the world and, for the sake of the white race. Go forward, young man. They can't really inspire that kind of violence anymore because people are too comfortable.
Well, I really hope you're right, but I personally see the signs.
I do see the signs. It might be just that it comes to power in a different way. But I don't think they're going to rely on street violence the way that the fascists originally did.
Yeah, because they had the black shirts and they went out and they just beat the crap out of everyone.
Yeah, they just beat people up.
Well, they were attacking socialists because that was the thing.
Communists, trade unionists, women, whoever the fuck they wanted.
No, as long as they identify them as social. Anyway, but but you get what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's a sort of progression, and I kind of see the sign of a progression towards it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of worried.
You should be worried. I mean, at the end of the day, America's sort of sinking slowly towards that point.
Well, America's already at the violence part.
yeah, that's true.
They're already they're doing
already
it
in power. Yeah,
they're doing it the wrong way around. Just saying, they're just doing it the wrong way around.
Yeah,
they're already jumping steps.
Yeah, they sort of started with the violence, didn't they?
They started with the power,
and then they got the violence,
and then they got into violence. Now they need acceptance, which hopefully they're never going to get it.
Oh, they're losing people by the day, man. Like every day, another cultist wakes up and goes, "Oh fuck, what have I done?"
So let's not hope they're gonna get into ultimate power, because then we're all imagine fascist America.
Well, don't have to imagine, dude. I've said this before. Trump won the last time. If America ever goes full on Nazi Germany and like everyone in America agrees with it, there's no one that's gonna fucking stop them. But Americans don't agree with it, so yeah,
they're also way too big.
You
can't brainwash how many million people there are at the same time.
No, I mean, brainwashing doesn't work like that, There's a high propaganda environment, but, even in modern contexts, like even the post 9/11 Iraq war shit, they haven't got anything like that so far. So that was the real moment where everyone was on board with American fascism.
I said this before. If America all of a sudden have a moment and then they just stopped investing in their outside military and their concerns with the rest of the world and start just focusing on themselves and building their own infrastructure and investing in agriculture, because they do have the land.
They do.
And just investing in their own resources and start investing in like solar panels and things that actually will produce them electricity rather than relying on petrol. They could be just self-reliant and not actually have to give a fuck about anybody else around them, which I don't understand why countries don't do this, right? I know there's complications in budgets and things, and you have to already maintain current infrastructure. But from a management point of view, the ideal sort of case is always to be self-reliant and not rely on anybody else. And then you start considering everybody else. Maybe you're not gonna eat bananas for fucking 5 years, man, but then you're gonna have a good economy. You know what I mean, kind of thing.
I'll give up bananas for a economy where I can actually.
No, but that was an example, right? a mass import. Would be bananas, right? Maybe you're not gonna eat some exotic fruits for a while.
I could get into like super into Paul Krugman here and like neoliberal sort of supply side economics and how. They did a bunch of maths basically that works out, if you can buy from global trade is just more efficient, in a capitalist sense in order to drive profits. It's not good for, stability, but who cares? The world's not going to be unstable anytime soon, right?
But no, but
right.
I see where you went there. But no, what I'm saying is you could have everything for your people. Right? Stop thinking from a capitalist point of view. I get a capitalism. I kind of enjoy capitalism because I like my things.
Well, everyone likes video games,
Yeah. So I kind of enjoy that and I get that sort of side of capitalism. But I'm talking about getting your people's like base needs met at all times. Right? Like have cheap fruits and vegetables that you grown inside, have everything seasonal and stuff like that. We don't need everything that is overly processed and whatever. Just making it for the sake of having loads of crap that you don't actually need. And look at your economy and like be like, cool, we need grains for bread. We need cows, chickens, and pigs. And then you kind of can live off of that. Like, I'm not even joking.
No, it's true.
It's like I could eat beef sandwiches every day. I'll be fucking fine.
Yeah.
Right? Bacon patties every morning. I'll be fine. That kind of sort of thing.
That should be the Green Party slogan. Bacon patties every morning.
and then all of a sudden you start looking in your agriculture sort of fields and you start growing other things that are seasonal that can actually work. And then yes, maybe if everything works great, everybody's well fed, everybody's healthy, you start educating everybody, all of a sudden you have a great country. But no, nobody wants to do that. They just want to enslave us with capitalism, because at the end of the day we're kind of enslaved with oh dude, that was a long rant.
It was good. I'm fired up, man. I'm appreciating it.
I'm so sorry. Like,
I wish I didn't have notes to get back to,
Okay, go back to notes. Sorry.
We could talk about capitalism forever. At some point we will. But I wanted to talk about what the aftermath of this election has been so far. It's only been a few days, but the signs have been very, very funny. Firstly, Labour. What did they do? What did they do to respond to this devastating defeat? Basically coped. They coped and they deflected and they tried to say, well, it's only one by-election.
That's the beginning.
It's just, unfortunately, it was a by-election that Kier Starmer himself showed up for. There is a lot of sort of back channels about, Starmer's career being over. They need to get rid of him. He's like electoral poison. All these things are very true. Whether it will lead to Starmer getting kicked out before May, I'm not sure. I think he might have a little bit more time. No one has significantly shown up to replace him yet. When they start talking about the person who's going to replace him, that's when you know it's over.
So, in order for Andy to actually, I call him Andy like I know him.
Yeah.
He's my mate. So, in order for my mate Andy from Manchester to replace Starmer, he has to become an MP.
Yes.
There's no other way.
No. You can't be I don't think you can be the leader of the party, but in order to be prime minister, you'd have to be an MP.
Okay.
So Zach Polanski's not an MP at the moment, but if he could be an MP, when he eventually does decide to run for himself, so he can become prime minister, he'll need to do that. He'll need to run for himself at some point. I can't.
Which constituency do you think he's going to take?
Probably the one he lives in. I mean, that's what I would do.
Oh yeah, your neighbors actually.
Yeah, I mean, like, usually it's good to just be on your home turf because you know the people, you know how to speak better, just better, better communication exists. They also coped about Labour also was coping about their tactics in this race, which were dirty as fuck. And I want to point that out for a little bit. Because the day before this election was due to happen, Labour put a fake, a letter from a fake tactical voting website. They invented a tacticalchoice.co.uk or something. Okay. They made up a fake website, put it on top of a thing saying, tactical vote is Labour. Greens cannot win in this constituency, and put it through everyone's doors. Basically,
oh yeah, because I did see a video about somebody saying, "Oh, there's like 8 of them I got just so far." Was that it? That was what the guy was talking. Because I couldn't get it. Like, we got 8 of what, and then I just moved on. Yeah,
it was. Obviously, the person leafleting that day was getting a bit bored, so they decided to just put 8 at a time through people's doors, which is very funny. It obviously speaks to them not really having a lot of motivation in this election. But they also started lying about the Greens' policies, like saying they wanted to legalize heroin. Legalization, decriminalization, very different. What the Greens actually suggested was, hey, maybe we should have less heroin addicts out on the streets. Maybe we should, give them clean places to go and do drugs safely.
Well, wasn't there a country that already did that?
Portugal.
Okay.
Portugal did it, and basically all of their use of drugs went down.
Yeah, because they don't have to go on the streets and find drugs.
Yeah. It was just, and then people stopped dying of HIV. That was a big deal at the time. It was the 2000s. They also, my favorite one, as soon as they implemented this policy, the marijuana use for teenagers between 13 and 17 went down 10%. Even though it was legal.
So that means they actually invested in educating people.
Yes.
Wow. Education actually works. Who would have thought that?
What was your drug education like at school?
Oh, non-existent.
Yeah, mine was pretty much non-existent. It's like, this is illegal, don't do it.
Yeah, no, okay. it was literally non-existent. I got my drug education straight out the street.
Yeah.
It's like, this is weird. Oh, cool, man.
What do you do with this? You smoke it?
Okay, cool. I don't like it. Cool. Let's move on. That was me, at least. That was me. I was like, oh, it's not for me.
Yeah, people would like offer me pills, and I'd be like, oh, what's in this? And they'd be like, what?
What do you mean, what's in this?
What do you mean? I didn't ask. I just got some pills. Do you want some pills? And I'm like, no. I'm not taking that shit if I don't know what's in it, asshole.
Yeah. No, because it's really bad, right? I'm not sure if that changed in the last few... Again, I left Romania a long time ago. But I'm sure if that changed. But I really hope it did.
I thought it would have gotten better since I was at school, but when I was teaching, it was actually kind of worse. Sex ed is like non-existent. Drug education is basically non-existent as well.
Why are they bothering teaching these kids anything? Just let them go.
It fucked me up, right? Okay, personal rant here. I had to literally explain to a bunch of year 11s what HIV was because they didn't know. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? You've had like STD education, right? They were like, yeah, we had a video about tea or something and consent, and that's about it.
Oh yeah, the video about tea. Yeah, I saw the video about tea.
Apparently,
if they don't want tea, don't give them tea, Billy.
Yeah, basically. The thing is, that joke video that was made for the internet like 15 years ago is now apparently the cornerstone of British sex education. I'm like, what the fuck,
it's
man?
It's insane. Well, yeah, education system, it's in shambles.
Yeah, it's fucked. It's the reason I left. So most of the Labour have just been coping and saying, well, I don't know why these people are voting for, someone who wants to legalise prostitution. Well, basically, you want to make sure that, sex workers are safe,
That's not about it. That's, again, dude, I'm not on any stance, right? But if you give these women a safe place to do their craft, even though, it's not the best craft in the world, but
it's not the most psychologically healthy
at least
job.
You give them a place to do their craft, and all of a sudden you provide them bathrooms and you provide them with everything they need to be clean and to be safe. All of a sudden everything's going to drop down,
and it solves a lot of problems of homelessness as well, because rough sleeping, people out on the streets, it's because they got nowhere to go, so give them a place to go at least for a bit. There's lots and lots of stuff you could do to tackle these problems, but it costs money, which you need to take from rich people, so they don't want to do that. That's generally how these things work, unfortunately. Yeah. We have the great potential for a system that could clean all this up. They just don't want to do it because it might involve taxing their mates.
Yeah, so start, taxing your mate.
Yeah.
and problem solved.
Which is probably why the Greens did so well here, because if you just say, hey, tax the rich, people go, fuck yeah, tax the rich. So there was one Labour MP who caught my eye who wasn't just coping and making excuses, and that was Clive Lewis, who's one of the better ones. he basically accused Kier Starmer of chasing mythical centrist voters that don't exist and trying to out-Farage when Farage is on the ballot, which is stupid. Clive Lewis is a real one. He's usually fairly left, like he's on the left wing of the Labour Party, always kind of has been. And also he's never been in a position of power because they won't let him. But he's, like, if I was going to pick a guy to lead the Labour Party, it would be him. If I'm honest. He's more sort of forthright and better at communicating than Starmer, well, or Andy Burnham, to be honest. But he is also sort of tied in with the old Labour establishment a bit too much for me.
But they're all tied in with each other, man.
Yeah. I mean, he could defect to the Greens tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, maybe this will be irrelevant by then. But so what did Reform do when they, I want you to take a guess, actually.
I actually know what they did.
What did they do?
They wrote on Twitter, on X, on whatever. He wrote that everybody cheated. And they've been cheating. We've been cheated, and you're all cheaters. Dude, he took a literally. I read that, and I should have pulled it up. So I read it, and I'm like, are you taking a note out of Trump's book?
Yeah, it's Nigel Farage is basically like, Mummy, Daddy, could I have a Donald Trump? We have Donald Trump at home. The Donald Trump at home is Nigel Farage.
Yeah, it's insane.
He tries to do the Trump like, well, everyone's cheating and it's all a conspiracy against me and blah, 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 blah. But he hasn't got the Trump charisma to pull it off. Whatever Trump's weird charisma is, he does not have it. I mean, it's because he's not as insane as Trump. And Trump is delusional enough to convince himself of his own lies.
Yeah, that's why he keeps going.
Yeah, it's why he just keeps going and going and going. Farage is not that stupid. And he hasn't been able to convince himself of all this. That's why he sounds like so desperate when he starts.
Also, he's not as old as Donald Trump, so just give him a couple of years.
Wait for the dementia to really set in.
Yeah, that's when you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, or maybe we could just have him kicked in the head by a horse, and then he'd be like roughly about Trump's level.
Either that or he's going to turn green. Because all of a sudden he realizes how badly he did everything, and everything goes back into normal place.
That horse's hoof, it kicked me directly in the empathy center of my brain. It seemed to have let something loose, because all of a sudden I found myself caring about people suffering. And I don't know how to deal with these emotions, frankly, because I've never felt them before.
Yeah, so pretty much...
Nigel bears all in his new book.
It goes either way.
So the other thing they did, which is the typical Reform line, guess what they did? They blamed Muslims.
Oh, did they actually?
Yeah, so the cheating he was going on about is a thing that's called family voting. He was accusing them of doing that.
I saw that with the family voting.
He basically accused the not... small. There was I think it's about 30% of the constituents there are Muslim. I should point out, not immigrants, because immigrants can't vote. These are Muslims who were born here. So,
no. So from what those two barrels looked like, right? One of them is 100% white.
Yeah, one of them is basically all white. Yeah,
and the other one is 50%. Muslim.
Yeah, so it evens out about like a third.
Yeah. So it's like, even if a third went out, that means all your white mates never voted.
Yeah, so all the white mates just stayed home.
They're like, we're not touching this one.
Basically, so he accused them of doing family voting, which is like where husbands pressure their wives into voting the same as them. I don't understand why they would pressure, an abusive Muslim man would pressure his wife to, vote for a gay Jewish man's party and like a blonde chick who's a plumber with a job. I don't understand why conservative Muslims would do that, but whatever. It's just a stupid image.
The way you put that, Billy, beautiful.
I'm just saying
that was beautiful.
It is what it is. But the other word that they used, to try and sort of justify this, and this was used by Matt Goodwin himself, went about like 5 minutes after finding out that he lost and he refused to shake Hannah Spencer's hand, and he basically acted like a whiny baby over it. He used the word sectarianism to refer to Muslims voting along religious lines. Again, I don't know exactly why he thought...
What religion?
Well, basically, they're sort of acting on the assumption that every Muslim voted for Green because of Gaza, because Green is the only party that acknowledges what Gaza is, a genocide. And so the rest of the parties... But
still, I will still go against their beliefs because she's a woman in power now.
Yeah.
So if you would look like if there would have been these alleged extreme Muslims in Manchester, all of a sudden all decided to vote for the Green Party, it would be completely... Because if they're extreme Muslims, it's going to be completely against what they believe. Like women in power.
That would be haram. It would literally be haram.
I don't think it would be haram, but it would be against their beliefs. So it's like, dude,
that's the thing that sucks about being a Muslim in the UK, man, because you're at one side is like, the same side. You're both like a barbarian who abuses women, hates gay people, and like wants to kill whitey. But you're also like so woke and left that you'll vote for a communist. It's like you can't like. Those two things do not make sense together.
Well, no, I think it's the fact that they're absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's because reform is insane.
Wait, yeah. Reform is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that because it came out wrong.
New candidate for local reform office. Muslims are insane, quote Andre. Basically, there's been a lot of pontification on like GB News, for example, on the right-wing press about why these Muslims just didn't turn out to vote for the Reform Party, and it's like,
dude, you're the ones that tried to chuck them out of the country. What the fuck are you talking? The fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
you are everything that's wrong with this country, and you trying to take their rights away. Why would they vote for somebody that wants to take their rights? They want to take everybody's rights away. They were playing on the idea that indefinite right to leave needs to be cancelled.
Yep.
Dude, it's millions of people on indefinite right to leave. Dude, if I'm gonna have to be asked to leave this country, I'm gonna have to sell everything, and I'm gonna try to fucking claim my taxes back. Taxes for the last 10 years. I will take them to fucking court.
Do it.
And it's not gonna be just me. It's gonna be for Carolyn as well. I do not care, dude.
You should
will
form like a mass like movement of like Romanian and like Eastern European immigrants to just like sue the English government to take all of those taxes back.
Yeah, because you're telling me I can stay here. I invested here. I am prepared to stay here for the rest of my, and then you turn around being like, no, you have to leave now because we're fascists, so we kind of hate we're not
out of all the brown people, so we're getting rid of the white ones as well now.
So it's like we're not just fascist, but we're extreme nationalists, which is almost the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
It's not that much difference.
Yeah, so it's dude, that angered me.
It's just like you're Matt Goodwin, you're running for the Reform Party, you're standing next to Nigel Farage, a man who wants to deport everybody who even gets a tan, and you're surprised when like a bunch of brown people who you keep saying aren't British, aren't part of our culture, are violent rapists, and you're surprised they don't vote for you. Yeah, what the fuck? It's like a bully show, like beating the shit out of you and then like asking you to politely to set you up on a date with their sister. Like, no, I'm not going to do that, dude. Like, why not? Like, because like I've still got the bruises, man. The fuck?
Yeah, no, it's the whole thing is fucked. They're all fucked.
They are all very, very fucked. But I'm kind of excited by this outcome, to be honest. Oh, I was going to put a bit about the Tories and what their response was.
Well, but they're irrelevant. They're irrelevant. There's no point. Why would you even talk about it?
Yeah, fun fact though, they actually lost their 500 quid deposit that you have to pay to run as an MP. If you get under 5% of the vote, you lose your 500 quid. So they didn't. They got 1.9% of the vote. The Tories did.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for them.
No, just a moment of peace, just to feel. Yeah, that's good. Things are right.
All right, let's move on because I can still see a lot of writing.
I've got a bit to say before I wrap all this up. Why am I in such a good mood about this? Well, firstly, Starmerism has to die. Not going to say Starmer himself, but he could just politely leave politics. That would be great.
He's not gonna. He's gonna do Boris Johnson. He's just gonna pop up now and again. He's gonna tear
everything on the way down. He's gonna break things. They're gonna have to break the party to force him out of power. He's gonna be a stubborn little bitch about this, because they're all stubborn little bitches who want to be in power and want to have a legacy, but have no ideas on how to actually do that. So they're just gonna focus on internal party bickering. That's basically what's going to happen, I think. Basically, Starmer has no ideas. He's out of time. He got elected on this promise to be different from the Tories. He hasn't really.
Yeah.
Because of all the stuff we've been saying, he will not tax the rich. He will not actually put programs in place to help people because you need money for that. And you can't really get money without taxing the rich, They've already cut everything as far as it can be cut, The NHS will not survive any more cuts. The other social services will not survive any more cuts. You can't cut anymore. The Tories already did it all. They already cut everything, so you can't cut things. You can't raise taxes on, like, just regular working people because the Tories also did that, and it wasn't enough. So there's only one thing you can do.
Yeah.
And they're refusing to do it. So
they're going to probably go, well, hopefully whoever comes after it's going to be slightly better or not. Or maybe the Green. I don't think the Greens going to actually get power in the first election.
I don't think so. But here's the thing. They don't necessarily have to. Because whoever takes over from Starmer is going to have to learn what Starmer's learning, the hard way right now. He can't guarantee that the left-wing guys are going to vote for him anymore. Because that was how they got into power, was there was nobody to their left that, people like me could have voted for. Yeah. At least, and have any chance of it winning. Now, the Greens have just proven that there is a party out there that you can vote for, they can win, and they're much more successfully left-wing and much more open about it than Labour ever was.
So, Green is the next big left party, yeah. It's the replace... I think... if I'm not wrong, Labour replaced somebody else before Labour was Labour, right?
The Liberal Party, yes.
Yeah. So it's always there's always a vote on a space on the left behind, and I think this time is going to be the Greens taking over that space.
And it is, and Labour has to bend to the will of the Green Party, or it's going to break. And if it breaks, who the fuck knows? Maybe the Greens will swap up just get everything. It means, Reform will have much more of a chance if Labour decides to carry on and just break itself in public for everyone to see and become a laughing stock for generations. They would deserve it, but, I don't think that they're going to be able to move quick enough to stop the Greens nicking a significant portion of their majority.
Which is, we'll just have to wait and see, isn't it?
It might be a case that we get into a situation where Labour are kind of the biggest party, and they have to form a coalition with the Greens to make a majority. The Conservatives did that not too long ago, so, it wouldn't be a surprise if that happened.
I wouldn't say no to it.
I wouldn't say no to it, but I prefer the Greens just to clean sweep them, to be honest.
Well, you'll never know. We'll just have to wait for 2 years.
Have to wait a couple more years, but we'll see. We'll see.
In 2 years, everything's going to be so much better. Trump's going to be out of power.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think he's going to live, but... I don't think Congress is going to let him actually... vote on it. I don't think they are, because they're already cracking down on him.
It's not fast and not hard enough.
Because it's, they have to do it right. Because if you don't do it right, he's going to come out and again start shouting that he's been cheated.
Well, they could have done it right the last time when he tried to overthrow their fucking government, but they didn't do that last time. They could have arrested him for that. They could have done him on treason. Okay, he's a president who turned against the results of an election. You could basically make a legal argument for that being treason. They didn't.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know why Labour isn't locking up most of the Tory criminals that we got in this country. There's probably quite a few of those guys who had some seriously dodgy shit, hidden in the prime ministerial archive somewhere. I'm sure Kier Starmer could get those people, arrested if he wanted.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. It's like the Epstein files did. Yeah. It's only so much they're willing to do. All right, Billy, wrap it up, because it's been probably an hour already.
I'll wrap it up with this. Everyone's been scared of Reform, winning seats all over the country. Oh, it's going to be a right-wing uprising in this country. I think you need to remember one very critical thing. They're not very good at this. They're fucking shit at acting like regular people, because they're not. They're evil, elitist scumfucks who, basically spend their life around other rich people trying to, wheel and deal and get money for themselves. And it's all, in this class space, which is completely separate from us, from everybody else. They suck at this. They suck at looking like, with the exception of Farage, they suck at looking like regular people.
And they just look like monsters.
They just look like evil, whiny, slimy, bitches, basically. And everyone can see that, because people might look at Farage with a pint of bitter in his hand and go oh yeah, that's a bloke I can respect. He puts his money where his mouth is.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
But he looks like a kind of guy who does that.
Yeah.
The rest of the Reform guys, they don't even have that. They're just annoying, whiny bitches, all of them.
They just want to oppress people. So in conclusion, vote Green.
Vote Green, fuck Reform, and also fuck you, Mr. Starmer. You told everyone on the left to leave, and they did. Goodbye.